get him some books. Ain't nobody ever saw him do that shit, but they'll tell you in a minute, he walked on water. Yeah, and Santa flies around the world and delivers gifts. See? Stupid shit.
It exists.
We don't want to be unkind, but we want to be...
Do you hear what it says? It says the Christian religion is a parody on the worship of the sun, in which they put a man called Christ in the place of the sun. That's what I keep telling everybody. I keep telling you guys that shit. And pay him the adoration originally paid to the sun. And you know what? They make you pay. See, if the sun remains God, you do not have to pay for it. Unless, of course, they get their plan to make clouds, whatever they want to, down pat. And when they get that down pat, which they won't, because I'm getting ready to kill all their asses, because see, the sun done got pissed off that they have proved that they will not sit their ass down. Anytime you are so diligent at causing chaos that you want to start creating interruption of sunlight coming to the earth, this is what they're doing. And if they can completely pull this off, as to where they can govern when the sun shines, we will all have a sunlight bill, like we all have electricity bill. So that means that these bastards will actually turn your sunlight off. And that's Jesus, people, for you. Go figure.
Factual. We don't want to cause hurt feelings, but we want to be academically correct in what we understand and know to be true.
And that's absolutely right. And that's the reason why I am harsh the way I deliver my lectures, because I wanted to get into the heart of you and you understand the true dangerous dynamics of what we are dealing with. All of the wars that have been on this planet has been because of the deceit of these European males who have fabricated a wealthy existence for themselves by locking everyone on this planet down in stupidity generated through religious dogma, spiritual bondage, as well as financial deprivation, economic death, the destruction of the planet, and the downtrodden of the female, as well as the saturation of drugs and alcohol and deadly chemicals, abusive police. All these things they have done in the name of their Christianity. That's what I want to point out. I can never ever get tired of trying to wake the world up to what is the problem that got us all screwed up. It's called ignorance.
Christianity just
and
is
Christianity.
Not based on truth. We find that Christianity was in fact nothing more than a Roman story.
I told you that.
Developed politically.
It's form
the
of
reality
politics.
is, Jesus was the solar deity of the Gnostic Christian sect.
The ones who knew.
Like all other pagan gods, he was a mythical figure. It was the political establishment that sought to historize the Jesus figure for social...
They're talking about the Vatican, the Roman Catholics, the Council of Nicaea. Let's go at it.
...control. By 325 AD in Rome, Emperor Constantine convened the Council of Nicaea. It was during this meeting that the politically motivated Christian doctrines were established, and thus began a long history of Christian bloodshed and spiritual fraud. And for the next 1600 years, the Vatican maintained...
I want to show you something.
And thus began...
Look at Asar's hat. Because they got nerves or what? He has the nerves to have my freaking hat on sitting there. I'll go in there and kick him in his stomach. I really would. They would arrest me and send me the same place they send Jesus, because I would kick him so hard right in his navel and take my hat from his ass. I'm already mad at Aristotle ass sitting on top of my degenerate. But these are some thieving ass people right here.
long history of Christian bloodshed and spiritual fraud. And for the next 1600 years, the Vatican maintained a political stranglehold on all of Europe, leading to such joyous periods as the
Did you see what they're doing? Look at the torture.
Dark Ages.
Look at the torture. in the name of that cross. Look, setting people on fire, killing people. Look, this is where all this evil, atrocious shit come from, the Vatican. I've always told you that. Look.
It was during this meeting that the politically motivated Christian doctrines were established, and thus began a long history of Christian bloodshed and spiritual fraud.
Sorrow, tears, and
And for the
bloodshed.
next 1600 years, the Vatican maintained a political stranglehold
Look at it,
on
the
all
evil.
of Europe,
Evil.
with such joyous periods as the Dark Ages, along with
And then they left there and enslaved our asses. After they did this shit all over Europe, when the Vatican decided they was going to force Christianity on everyone, they went all over Europe, burning people, raping women, sticking swords up women's vaginas, cutting their heads off, forcing them to go along with Christianity. After they got everybody in Europe to go along with that shit, they built armies of you vagabonds and you barbarians, and you went into Asia and did the same thing to Asia. And now you got hooked up and created huge armies of Semites, talking about Genghis Khan and all that old bullshit. And then you went all around the world and spread your Christianity. After you destroyed Africa and Asia and Europe, your ass came across the Atlantic Ocean and brought that shit over here to the Americas. And now everybody walking around worshiping your white ass as God. That was forced on their religion through brutality and freaking coercion.
enlightening events such as the Crusades and the Inquisition. Christianity, along with all other theistic belief systems, is the fraud of the age. It serves to detach the species from the natural world and likewise each other. It supports blind submission to authority. It reduces human responsibility to the effect that God controls everything, and in turn awful crimes can be justified in the name
of your God, like slavery, deprivation, rape, castration, mutilation, all the shit you white people did to us in the name of your religion. Religion can never reform mankind because religion is slavery. That's exactly what I said. I tell everybody all the time, getting away from Christianity is freeing your ass from slavery. That's all it is. And all of you guys who is still stuck in that religion, after all of this proof is coming into your hard drive, you're going to still want to stick with that shit. Your ass is going to be held accountable for all the crimes that this religion sector has caused to mankind.
a divine pursuit. And most importantly, it empowers those who know the truth, but use the myth to manipulate and control societies.
They're talking about me. Now you hear how well I am at expressing what I want to get out of my heart to people. I could be rich if I wanted to go sell you Jesus. All these people who look down on me when they see me in a garbage can will worship me and fall at my feet if I would just preach Jesus to you. Because I will be rich as hell and I will make a lot of y'all asses be stupid as hell. I could be so powerful if I started preaching the Jesus shit. Believe me, they was really upset when I told them at the church, I'm not preaching that shit. Well, what do you mean you're not going to preach it? Because it's not true. So they all go from being my friends as long as I was going to be on the team with them to preach this bullshit and fool the world so we could all rip the neighborhood off some more, perpetuate poverty. And I told them that. I said, preaching this shit to black people is like selling them dope. This is what I told them people in that church. I said, and it's not true. I said, the true God is Asar. The true God is a set. And they don't even have a goddess. That makes this genderly incorrect because you're not going to have a God if you can't have a goddess. And I know that. And when I started dropping that shit on them, they told me to get my ass out of the church. So go figure. They didn't want me in the church no more because I had became a threat to them. Because I'm like the guy that's been in the gang and we done murdered every damn body. And now I want to say I want out, but I know too much. So they going to kill me. I'm surprised they didn't take me in the back and hang my ass. You should have saw how nasty and rude they were to me. And not the whole church, just the hierarchy. The ones who had dreamed of how much money they was going to make off of me being a spill piece for them and selling people a bunch of bullshit. And I put the brakes on that shit and told them, fuck you, I'm not telling these lies to people. And they was like, well, you get your ass out of our church. And I said, I'm stepping real fast. And just so you can know something else too, it was this girl in that church, this little fine little sister, she was so fine, y'all. It was like 2 or 3 of them. And she used to stare at me and flirt with me, right? And they got jealous. And Bishop Blake set his ass up in the pool pit one day and talked about me and that girl eyeballing each other. So right before I pulled out of LA one day when I was leaving, the day I was leaving, the next day, I was just running around the city getting my stuff ready to get my ass out of there. And I saw her on the Blue Line train. And I was like, ain't you that little? She said, yep, that's me. She had that wig off. Sister was looking good. She had took that Christian ass wig off her head. And I said, don't you remember? She said, yeah. I said, I used to see you in there all the time. She said, I bet you won't see me up in there no more. I ain't going for that brainwash shit no more. And she was at her stop. She was at Crenshaw. And I looked at her, and she got her little fine self off the train, and I was thinking to myself, man, life just ain't fair. Because when she was eyeballing me in the church, I couldn't say nothing to her because everybody being the way they were. You know, even in the Christian church, if two people is eyeballing each other and want to get with each other, if you're not two people that the church thinks should be together, they're how they nerves to sit up and block stuff. And he had the nerves to tell that girl, don't be turning around looking at him, looking all around in the church. I can't believe he told her that on a Sunday when everybody was in the church. This young girl was infatuated by me. She put some lipstick on her lip. I swear I'm not lying to you. And she licked her lips and she turned around and she looked right at me and I looked at her. I swallowed hard. I looked behind me to see who she was looking at and I was like, oh damn, ain't nobody back there. I was like, you looking at me? And she was like, hell yeah. She shook her head like, yeah. And I was like, damn. So she did that like 2 Sundays. On the 3rd Sunday, Bishop Blake went off on the girl because he got tired of her turning around, you know, showing me that she was interested in me. And all the dudes in the church got mad and jealous too. It was like we was at a club, just like people get jealous in the club. And I was like, you know, I just can't believe this. I just can't believe that these people are sitting here standing on representing God and having God energies. And I feel more safe in the damn bar with everybody drinking some damn Remy Martin. We all drunk with guns and pistols. I felt a lot safer than sitting in those demon-ass pools at that damn church. And I'm telling you the truth. That is the real truth.
The religious myth is the most powerful device ever created and serves as the psychological soil upon which other myths can flourish.
A myth is an idea that, while widely believed, is false. In a deeper sense, in the religious sense, a myth serves as an orienting and mobilizing story for a people. The focus is not on the story's relation to reality, but on its function. A story cannot function unless it is believed to be true in the community or the nation. It is not a matter of debate. If some people have the bad taste to raise the question of the truth of the sacred story, the keepers of the faith do not enter into debate with them. They ignore them or denounce them as blasphemers.
It is wrong, blasphemous, and sinful for you to suggest, imply, or help other people come to the conclusion that the U.S. government killed 3,000 of its own citizens.
Well, they did. And I don't care who don't like it. Because I'll tell you like this. They did more than they killed. The United States government is guilty of oppression as well as slavery. I can give you an archive that can show 400 years of oppression right here on American soil. And I can also show you a history of America being abusive to people over in Europe before they even came here. The same people who came here and told you all those lies in your school books about how they came here to escape religious persecution. The same religious persecution that they claim they were escaping in Egypt is the religious persecution. I mean, in Europe, is the religious persecution that came over here and destroyed the native people here. Okay? Do you understand? Marriott Hotel. So what I want you to see, what we got here, as you can see, this is the god Asar. Okay, as you can see, what's unique about him, away from other people, is that he's standing on a pedestal. Okay? This is the true God that you're going to always see on the pedestal. Whenever you see him, you're going to see the crook and the flail, meaning that he has power of control. All the time ordained by the universe. This man right here is the time traveler. He goes to the duat. That means that any person that has to be recreated or created must be given sustained.